Okay then. This is a podcast on uses and gratifications theory and how it links into media, and this links into both video games and film. Uses and gratifications is a theory which emerged in the 60s, and this came out of the first generation of people who grew up with TVs and the studies of how they became, what they've been exposed to and how they became grown-ups and how TVs had affected them. From this it became apparent that audiences made choices about what they did when they consumed text. So therefore, rather than being this whole idea of them being passive and being injected with what the media wants them to believe, they're actually made up of people who are active, who actively seek out media text for certain reasons and consume them, and also consume them for different ways. Now, this theory links on from a guy called Laswell, who suggested that media texts have these functions within society, that being surveillance, correlation, entertainment, and cultural transmission. We all know about entertainment, why we would consume a text for entertainment reasons, to be entertained, so that we've got humour, so that we can pass time, etc., etc. The other reason is the cultural transmission, so the whole idea of transferring or reinforcing one's culture to the audience. And surveillance and correlation are two areas which you don't need to know for video games. This whole idea was expanded upon by two guys called Blums and Katz, who published their own version of this in 1974, and this is really the version that you need to know for the video game exam. And basically they said that individuals might choose and use a text for the following reasons or purposes. So basically they use it and they get something from it, uses and gratifications. The first thing they said is that people would use it for diversion. So this is so that we can escape from everyday problems and routines. So our life may be a bit boring, therefore we may go and play a computer game to forget about our boring life, or we may be lonely, therefore we may go and play a multiplayer game like Call of Duty and hang out with people who we don't really know, who are, in our cyber friends, for example. The second thing they say that we may use it for is personal relationships. So we use the media for emotional and other interaction with people. E.g., we could substitute real-life interaction for interaction over the internet. Therefore, people may be, be part of blogs, forums. They may have cyber avatars. They may be a certain character that comes across a certain way in World of Warcraft or many of these other MMO-style games. Thirdly, they say that we use media text for personal identification, or for our personal identity. So we use the text, and what we do through using it this way is we find ourselves reflected in the text, and we learn behaviour and values from that text. And that forms who we are, and you can easily see that in some styles of video games. Finally, they say that we consume the text for surveillance reasons. So, for example, information which we could find useful for living. This one's a bit harder to apply to video games because we don't really play a game which is going to be useful, provide us information which will be useful for living. However, we may access things within the game which allow our game character to live or to exist within the virtual world. Therefore we could apply it if we're looking within a game. But anyway, that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour through uses and gratifications theory. Now you need to be able to apply that to your case study.